Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I wanted to show you some of the finish out work while we're waiting on the ground to dry to finish out the inside. So here's the inside of the pool. We got more rain. All the standing water's gone, but it's just taking a while to dry out. I have read there are things you can do to help with the ground, like mixing in I don't even remember, limestone, like powder, or vermiculite, or, diatomaceous earth or something. There's some additive that you could like throw on the ground and kind of mix in there to help dry out the ground. I haven't messed with it. Maybe I should have. So if you're in the same situation I am, maybe you want to do that, but I'm not there. So we're waiting for it to dry out. But while we do that, I'll show you the progress that we did make with some of the finish out for after the deck. So to start, there's our skimmer. I think we showed that already. What we probably didn't show was the finished out deck jet. So here is what came out to be. I don't know if it'll come in. There's the video. You can see the little adjustable nozzle that installed. So this is how this thing goes together. This cap will pop off. All right, I'm not gonna try to pop it off, but it pops off so you can get access to this, to thread this in and out of the fitting. I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but I'll mention it again. When setting these rough in, we set them to the level of the wall, right? Set them level, because that's what you think of, but you actually need to set them sloped 1/4 inch per foot so they match the slope of the deck. So ideally this would be the slope of the deck, and then this thing will adjust to fire however you need. In our case, ours were set level, so they kind of mounted the concrete up around here and try to do it best we can. This top of this lid does sit proud of the deck. I don't care for that, but I don't know if there's any really good way to get it where it's flush and still serviceable, where you can pull this off, because this has like an inside diameter connection. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but this is how ours turned out, and it's gonna be okay. You can kind of see on the ground. And we put the final trim cover on gray to match all the other gray. Might see if the guys can do something about smoothing this part out, after I pulled the mud cover off and some of the concrete kind of chipped away. This one's kind of the same way. You can kind of see it's a little more, got the shadow, a little rough here. Yeah, not terrible, right? But if we can make it a little better, that would be good. So there's the other one, and then the other one there. Now the main purpose of this video is I'm going to show you the slide and the diving board. So we'll go with the diving board first. This thing was super easy to install because we placed the jig correctly. So literally, if you remember that jig, it just had three studs essentially, right, coming up out of the concrete, and the base there literally drops on it. You have a washer, a lock washer, and a nut, 3 of them. Torque it to, I think, 50 foot-pounds, all right? And then the board on the top just drops down, and you got these 2 through bolts here with just a bolt, like a carriage bolt, and then washers and lock washers and nuts and 25 foot-pounds. That's it. That's all it is. That's how you install this board. Super easy. Just make sure you kind of center it up and have everything even. Like there's a lot of play in the diving board, left to right. So just make sure you have it centered up, aesthetically pleasing, right, before you torque it down. Now, the big boy, the slide. Here is our SR Smith Turbo Twister slide. This thing's a beast. It looks big on camera, it's bigger in person. This thing stands 8 feet 7 inches tall, I think. And it took me and my dad probably 5 hours to put together for what you see there. Big pieces, not hard, just time consuming. And you build it in 2 assemblies, and then you snap it together here at the middle joint. So getting those 2 with just 2 guys, getting it all lined up is fun, because this thing is big and unwieldy. So if you can get a couple more hands, I would recommend it. Other than that, it just bolts together pretty easy. Move around the back side here so you can see. So definitely not hard. All right. As you're positioning this, you want to take care to to be mindful of all your envelopes, right? The diving board and the slide, they all have their own specs, their own codes, envelopes of where they can be, and pay attention to all that when you have to pay attention to that when you're roughing all this in, like we talked about, because you could see there our rough-in plumbing, right? You saw the waterfall stub up, and here is the 1.5 inch stub up, and we hit it pretty perfect. It went well. So making those templates, well worth it. So that's our stub up there, and we basically cut it down just enough to put that coupling on, and then this is the pipe that comes with the slide. So you get a coupling, you get 1.5 inch flex line, goes up to a valve that they give you, and then another 1.5 inch flex line up into the slide there. So that is how that runs. And so they say use this valve to adjust the flow of the slide, like if you want more water or less water. So this valve will be for tuning, and then the valve at the equipment pad will be for actually turning it on and off. And I think we'll be good. Some notes. So this thing bolts to the concrete with 1/2 inch lag bolts. So that's what they give you. Or not lag bolts, 1/2 inch concrete anchors. So you drill a 1/2 inch hole. And I highly recommend getting an SDS hammer drill for this, SDS drill. Using a normal hammer drill, it'll just be harder. And anyone who's used a normal hammer drill versus SDS, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For this kind of project, you're drilling 8 holes. And as easy as it made it, go buy the $60 SDS drill from Harbor Freight, add it to the cost of your project if you don't want to get something fancier, like a cordless or something, and you'll drill the first hole, especially if you've never used an SDS before, and you will say, oh my, why did I not buy this earlier in my life, comma, you idiot. I should have done this a long time ago. This is how this is. So get the SDS drill. In my case, I got a Diablo bit for it, a bit that is rated for concrete and brick and chewing through rebar and everything else, and it worked flawlessly. I mean, I have never drilled this large of a masonry hole that easy. So get an SDS drill. And I'm sure all the contractors that are watching are like, well, yeah, of course you use an SDS drill. Yeah, well, but for homeowners, DIYers, and mere mortals like myself who have never used one, that is a game changer. So and then you just torque them down to spec. I think it was 25 foot-pounds, but I don't remember. Check your manual. One thing they told us to do, which was, I think, a bad mistake. They basically say, tighten the bolt down, then pull the nut back off and drop the lock washer on. You can see a lock washer there. All right there. And then put it back on, right? And we did that, and it sucked, because they basically say, yeah, tighten it down and then give it like, 3/4 turns or something like that, and then pull it off. But the problem with ours was that when we did that, the anchor started spinning. Everything got seized up, and it was spinning in the hole, and it was bad. So we had to get the vice grips out to booger up the threads and try to get the nut off and repair the threads, and we got it. It was all good, but it was a pain in the butt. So my recommendation is not to do that. And what I'm doing, because I've only bolted this down halfway, these bolts here have not been torqued. And so we already put the lock washers on. We're not messing around with that. We're just going to tighten it down. And the reason it hasn't been tightened down is because that little piece of plastic right there. So much like setting level for the deck jets, we didn't really think about setting level for the slide and the diving board as well. The diving board is actually still within spec. It's going to be okay. But here, I actually have to shim up this side to get it more level, because we've got a sloping concrete deck, right? And so really what you need to do, my recommendation, is when you're pouring the concrete, you need to know about where these platforms are going to be, and you need to make it level. Have a level pad that these things can sit on and then slope away. That way everything's level, right? It's not insurmountable. In the case of the slide, I called SR Smith, the manufacturer. They sent me 2 of these shims that I'm going to stack on top of each other to shim it up. I have it here because I started to try and mess with it and then realized it's going to take more effort than I wanted to put in, and I'll just wait and have my dad help me, and it'll be easy work for 2 of us. So, and they'll send you those shims for free, so it's not the end of the world. But that's something to be mindful. Those little details that you really don't think about until after the fact. You're like, oh yeah, duh, that would have been good. What else? Drilling the holes was easy. Getting the anchors in wasn't. We had to take the dead blow hammer and beat the crap out of them to get them in there on some of them, just trying to get everything aligned. But they're all there, and it's all good. I would say try to make sure you drill your hole straight. You know, it's common sense, but even that one I can see, maybe my drilling wasn't exactly perfect. Yeah. In the end, it's going to be okay. It's all going to be solid. No kids are going to die or fall off of it, and the slide's not going to tumble in the pool or anything. But that is about it. It is, it's quite the beast. But the kids will get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and hopefully a lot of grandkids will get a lot of enjoyment out of it. That's really about it for this video. Next one will probably be after we get the poolcrete done on the inside and repair all the erosion and damage. And I was hoping it'd be happening this week, but Mother Nature is not on my side. Go figure. If you've been following this project, you know that she has not been on my side at all. But that's okay. So we'll get there when we get there, and I will bring you along for the ride. So as always, thanks for watching. If you like the content that I'm putting out and you're enjoying it, please consider liking the videos, sharing the videos with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. It helps out the algorithm. It helps everything about the channel, and that allows me to honestly make more ad revenue, and helps me to keep bringing you the videos that you're enjoying. So please like, share, subscribe. Also, please consider doing all of your Amazon shopping through my affiliate link in the show notes, in the video, video description. That Amazon link, you can click that link, buy stuff on Amazon, and then our channel will get a cut, basically. It costs you no extra money, and it helps us out tremendously. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.